And then Jay, you and I met.
Mm-hmm.
So it was on Easter weekend last year. I drove to what's the name of your town? The name
Belleville?
Bellevue?
Belleville.
Belleville. Okay, yes. So I drove, it was like a 14-hour drive. I
Thank you for
drove,
driving. I appreciate you.
it was very exciting. And you and I spent the weekend together.
That was beautiful. Absolutely grateful
Yeah.
for that experience.
Yeah, yes. It was an amazing experience. We went to the one of the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved the lodge and I love going for that lighthouse walk.
Yes. Yeah, it was a very like sunny weekend. It was cool, but
Very windy.
yeah, it was very windy. And yeah, and it was an amazing experience to meet you and to spend time with you. And what for on your end was Sean what was he doing during that weekend? I don't know if I ever asked you.
Honestly, um, it threw me off, honestly. Like, it's not that he wasn't present, but it was in a very more airy slash etheric kind of way. Like it was more of like an observant way, like less like I'm in the field walking the grounds, you know what I mean? Like rooted in the self, like much more kind of like, you know, when you like you go on Pinterest or something, you see like the angels watching the earth and stuff. Like it literally had that kind of feeling. Like he was watching me and our experience go on in that kind of 3D, almost 4D version of that 3D kind of observation.
That's really interesting because a lot of what he was
So the
communicating to
only
me,
way I can explain it, really.
a lot of what he was communicating to me while he was in your body is that he didn't want to like overstep. He didn't want you to feel like you were being taken over or being led to do, or he didn't want to dominate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I noticed that a lot. Like his energy was very present. I remember saying with you, I'm like even a few times I apologize because I'm just like sorry, just the energy is like it's a lot. Like I'm like ringing with like sensitivity and stuff. At the same time, his energy was very present, but like the personality or whatever, the psychology or his energetic signature specific to him and whatever that kind of thing was very latent and kind of put in the background. Like you could feel like there's an intentionality for like I trust you that you got this and you won't overstep or do anything weird or funny or malicious or whatever else. So kind of take the wheel. And again, not in a dominating way, but just like here, I'm going to pull back. You can have whatever reins you think are necessary, that kind of thing, and see how this goes. My trust is on you, kind of thing. And that's a lot of why I was like quiet and trying to really honor you. Didn't really know what to say. You know what I mean? Like just trying to really reflect everything in whatever full scale way I can. If you said something, and maybe bring up stuff that was relevant to you and him or something. That's why I was like that so much.
It was such an interesting experience. Honestly, I didn't really like sense Sean it when I was with you in person. And I think that's because he was really taking a back seat. I think he wanted you to feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable and not overtaken by him. So interestingly, I didn't really sense him in you when we met physically.
Yeah. And it happened probably, say, about 6, 8 hours probably before you showed up. Like it started kind of dissipating.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it wasn't like an instant thing, like he got shy or nothing. Like a little bit. That is true. But it's not that that was the case. Like he's definitely like there was overwhelming excitement, and it was not just me. There was like it was like having a baby in your stomach. You can feel the excitement of the baby, kind of thing. Like
Oh, like you could feel his excitement that I
oh
was
yeah, yeah.
you guys.
Everything that I feel is amplified times about 6 or 7 when I got higher up to something. Like it
Amazing.
was just like I was like a child that wanted to scream like a little girl. Like it got like that, and I was like, all I can do to use for me, that masculine kind of like control mechanism to try to like not let it just like belt out, you know.
Oh my gosh. This is just such a
But
wild.
yeah, I mean, a lot of my intentionality was anchored toward just kind of honoring you and really, bringing up memories of you guys and good lighting and not that you guys had. I don't want to say per se bad ones, but you know what I mean. Like just trying to like really hue things in a beautiful way. Just bring up relevant things that were deep and memorable to you guys that I knew of, and stuff like that when we were together. Because I'm just kind of just all in all, summing up, I'm honored to be in whatever a bizarre experience that was. Like, I don't even know anybody else that's in that position.
And it
I
was
know.
really
And
interesting
here we
too
are.
because I came up to Canada to spend time with you, and the last time I had been in Canada was for Sean's funeral. So just super wild and interesting that, oh, a year later, I'm meeting up with a beautiful man whom Sean's energy is now in. I mean, it's just what?
Mind blowing.
Well, I
Mind
remember
blowing.
when there's two things that like I meant to mention before. One, the Easter weekend thing. Like, if you know anything about bibliography, I mean, that is pretty,
It was, that's
that's
right.
something on its
Resurrection.
own.
Jesus yes, I didn't
Yes.
even think of that. It was literally Easter weekend.
Yeah, I had
Oh
that in
my
mind
God,
before, but it's just when I get streaming, I mean, I just get streaming, then I forget about some of the stuff.
you're
But
so
that's a
right.
big thing, though. Like that is like I don't even. I'm not a believer of this and that, but like biblically wise, like
Yeah.
that's something. I mean,
That's
that is peculiar
historically
time.
written that that was a time when Jesus had risen.
And
And if you notice that again, planetary alignments. Now, at the time that when this connection happened, the reunion is what I'm going to call it. When the reunion happened, we were going through a very similar planetary cosmic frequencies as we are experiencing right now. And it was eclipse energies. We were going through that, and we're actually going to have that again twice this month. And it seems that Sean purposely chooses access points that are very heightened in frequency. And I'm going to say that wizardry in him, as
I
he,
already had. I was waiting. I was trying not to say anything. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's a wizard. That's what his claim, that was his identity, that is what he stood upon. And I'm not shocked. It's so interesting for me to be a part of the energetic connections I got to witness. And what my role was for all of this was to help Jay's vessel to move through the energetic stimulation as best as one can, because it's not going to go away. Energy is stimulation.